wrote some notes down. Wait for some people to come in. Anyone, where's this chat? If you're able to see this, please say hi so I know people are in here and it's working. Hello, Marble, Jennifer. Hi. Okay, you guys are here. How's it going? How's it going? Okay, so I'm back on streaming. I think my goal is to stream once a week, once every 2 weeks. Hey, Zoe. Hey, Blitz, Nancy, Camp, Trisha. Hello, everyone. Zoe, Alicia. Hi, Malta. Hi from Vancouver. Jenny. Hi, guys. Hi. Thank you for tuning in. So we're going to go about 45 minutes. Hi, Victoria. The theme for this week is just going to be kind of fitness, partying, eating good food, living life, and balance it all. Oh, I'm so happy you can make it, Nancy, too. Allie, hello. Happy Tuesday. Carol, Rachel. Oh, thank you so much. Anyway, so let's jump into it. First of all, if anyone has any questions, I just thought we'd talk about some, if you're going to eat good. Hi, Meg from the weekend. You're going to go out drinking. How can you balance that with fitness? Whether it be cheat meals, partying, some hangover hacks. If anyone has any questions or any stories, hello, William. Hi, Trisha. Sorry if I said that wrong. I'm glad you could catch me. Hello, Helen. This is impossible for me. Great topic. Okay, so I'm going to start. If you have any questions or stories, we're going to just dive into it, respond, and we can just have a little conversation. So I thought we will cover today, first of all, how to not be hungover, because I feel that's the biggest issue with balancing going out, having fun, and of course, William, yeah, just ask away. I'll kind of answer questions as I talk about it. And how do you balance that with fitness? Because that's the biggest thing for me. It's not so much like you eat a few extra calories, you lose a little bit of sleep. It's just that the ripple effect, and then you're tired the next day, so your motivation drops, and then you have weird cravings, and that's kind of the hard ebbs and flows of this all. So here is my tricks. Is this going to stay up after streaming? Yes. So anytime after I stream, it'll be posted. So if you don't miss it, you can watch it. It's because I was going to get into podcasting, but I thought this would be more fun because I'd rather just have conversations with you guys. Hi, Ervin. So how to not be hungover. So how to not be hungover. Okay. Let me just answer this. And then, are you familiar with autism? Actually, my mom, I'll answer that real fast. I think I've seen you ask this before. My mom worked with youth with disabilities growing up. And so my best friend works with people with autism and other similar situations. And I love them. You are all beautiful. You're uniquely beautiful. And I love you all. And you're amazing. Like you said, we all just have unique flavors to us, and autism is unique flavor. I like to think of it, and you're amazing. So just want to say that to you, William, and let's jump into how not to be hungover. So how not to be hungover. Real quick, before, during, after. Before is the foundation for how not to be hungover, is you cannot drink on an empty stomach. I know a lot of people in the fitness world are like, oh, you got to save calories. Drinking is calories. That is the worst thing, because the only time you can really, really set yourself back is when you drink on an empty stomach. You get that hunger, that deep 3 a.m. hunger that is not solvable. You can literally do a 10,000 calorie challenge easy. It's because you drink on an empty stomach, and that's when it turns out bad. Versus if you make sure to have carbs and fats in your stomach. I'm talking bread with butter, potatoes, eggs, a burger, pizza. You don't have to have the biggest thing. Just make sure your stomach is coated. Some protein's also always good, but I feel the fitness world, that's not even an issue. You need some carbs and fats in you before you start drinking, and that's going to make you not so hungry at 3 a.m. and you're not going to get so drunk so fast, and you're just going to be able to pace yourself. It's all about pace. So that's my first trick. You need carbs and fats within like an hour or two of you drinking. Don't try and save calories. That's the number one. Also, hydrate all day. Say you're someone who drinks 4 liters of water. My rule is that if I naturally drink 4 liters of water, it has to be done before I start drinking, and then I just counteract. If I have a drink, I have another glass of water. So we'll pop into during. How to not, the best way to not get hungover. So it's going to affect your fitness goals after. Chicken bolognese, ooh, amazing. And salt water, yes, okay, we're going to talk about salt water. at the end, because that's a big one. It's electrolytes is a big reason for your hangover, and that hunger in the morning is electrolyte imbalance. Bring on the bagels. Yes, bagels and butters before and in the morning. So during, you're going to stick as a bartender. Here's what you're going to drink. Vodka, tequila, gin. The ryes and whiskeys are the same technically, kind of, but I find naturally for me, the more clear, high quality liquor, no hangover. I just was in Vegas. We stuck to good quality tequila. None of us were hungover. So you want to stick to those, and you want to mix with non-sugary items. So yes, that's soda water, diet pops, but some other, you can have fun with it. Like get infused waters. I like to do that. I like to use kombucha. Always a gin for me. But yes, it's also a trick. Some people are vodka people. I'm not a vodka people. Some people are gin. Some people like me are tequila. You just got to pick your poison. And then you got to find a cocktail and make it fun. Like a skinny margarita, which is a little less sugar, lime juice, sodas, and yes, is it Jarrett? Derek? Jarrett? Anyways, he just, don't mix. Stick to your poison. Try your best. If you're starting with tequila night, have a tequila. Gin, don't mix in Jaeger. You can, of course, there's some nights you're just like, I don't care. That's fine. So you're just going to push that off to the side. But if that is your goal, you're going to stick to those ones. And some mixes, like I said, someone put soda water. It's pretty much, you just want to add in a bunch of water. So also saying during, for every drink, no, she says, for every drink you have, you need a glass of water. Not like this ratio, but just pretty much have a drink, have some water. That's the nice thing about soda water is you're naturally drinking water with it. And do that throughout the night. And just pace yourself. That's something I can't teach. You got to learn your own tolerances. I love tequila, but I can guarantee you that morning after I'm physically sick. My husband laughs. And I always get a good tequila. Zoe, I feel you. That is me with vodka. I've had like Russian vodka, like the good stuff. And as much as it's fun, the next morning I'm just, tequila works for me. You got to figure out what works for you. Hey, Kate. So that would be my tip. So water during, pace yourself. And some other, if you're not a hard liquor person, I do find light beers. For me, a Bud Light, a Coors Light, it is lame, but they have so much water content in them versus other beers. And Coors Light, I think, has less sugar than Bud Light, but I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, sugar, it all kind of balances out. Seltzers, those kind of ideas. And then you can look into, I feel wine, I don't even say that because it totally depends on you. Wine makes my mom violently hungover. I have to have very specific kinds of wine. I like wine for me is like something that goes with a meal, or you just enjoy wine. We're not talking about just like an enjoyment. So wine, you gotta test and figure out which type works for you. That's a trial and error. And that would be my best tip for there. And so and then drinking water throughout. Then right after, here's the next tip. If I drink a red, I'm sleeping on the cold floor. Same. Like if I love a red wine and steak, but I am going to go to bed. And I don't drink to go to bed. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, people drink wine every day. Sounds fun, but, and what about beer? So yeah, beer, I find the less hoppy, the less sugary. So yeah, stay away from your sours, your IPAs, really depend on the person. For myself, I don't know if it's because I'm all Irish, and beer, if I stick to beer, no hangover. If I stick to just tequila, no hangover. So that for me, but a lot of people don't like beer, especially I have a lot of female audience, so that's why I don't always recommend it. But a good lager, if you just stick to that all night, drink your water, it actually is, and I find it's kind of good because it fills your stomach. Some people get Malibu and Diet Coke, that works as well. Malibu is like, if anyone is a bit sugarier, a little less content, but I find it's just that it would go up there. That and Diet Coke is another win. I'm just not a rum person. Oh, I didn't mention that. White rum. White rum is also equal to like a gin, vodka, tequila. See, I just don't think of rum. Honestly, it's because I ruined it when I was 18. I used to steal it from my parents and now I can't drink it. How do you bounce back after a weekend of sweets plus PMS cravings? Ooh, okay, we'll dive into that. Okay, I'm going to go finish off this and we'll go into just regular cravings kind of thing. June Shine. Please, how good is that? I watch Cody Co and I know I think he's always promoting it, and just all those, we don't have it in Canada. I think I hit 30, some alcohol. Yeah, also that's another thing. I find your 20s, that's another thing, late teens, early 20s, Canada, drinking age is 18. In the beginning, it hits harder. And then you go through a bad phase, your mid-20s. I thought I heard someone talking. Maybe it's just the echo. Okay. Then I'm I'm going insane. So then, yeah, end of your 20s. And then you kind of figure out the alcohols you want. And then I haven't hit my mid-30s, so we'll see. My 11-year-old is sitting here shocked that you read my comment alive. His name is Ty, and he loves you too. Holly, tell Ty, say hi. I hope you don't mind him talking about alcohol. All in moderation, a balanced life. So, next morning. So, oh, just wait. Just wait. Okay. Hello? Hello?
Hello, maintenance coming.
Oh, okay, thank you.
That's here?
Yeah, it's in there.
Oh, thank you.
Live problems. Yeah, so, yeah, that was awkward. I have maintenance people. I live in an apartment. Oh, William, you did not need to send me any money. That is so sweet. I'm going to make sure, William, ask a question right now, and I'll make sure to answer it. So, yeah, William, I believe I've seen you on TikTok, and real. Everyone go give him a follow. I love just a sparkling joy in the internet world. So I love anyone. And just thank you for supporting. That was so nice. Ask a question, William, if you want. And that was so sweet. I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you. So what I was going off of, no, William, you melt my heart. I hope you have a fabulous day and go pet all the dogs. And I'll remind you to drink water next time. Okay, so right before you go to bed, here is the ultimate hack. I was like, yeah, who rings? I know, I was like freaked out. I was like, I swear I hear voices. And then I was like, maybe it's just the echo in here, but hello, Manfred. Oh my God, Manfred, thank you, Rudy. Sorry, your user's Manfred, but you always say from Rudy, so I know your name's Rudy. And so what you want to do before you go to bed, okay? Here's the ultimate trick. You have to drink enough water, sodium, before you go to bed. So if you have some, late night McDonald's, have a little bit. Make sure if you're starving, get something to eat. Don't go to bed hungry. Otherwise in the morning, you're going to wake up rough. Now here's my trick. Gatorade, electrolytes type drink, think BioSteel, Pedialyte, that. If you don't have access to it, here's the best one. You can have coconut water or pickle juice. Just take a big swig of pickle juice. You'd be shocked how much, there's just sodium, electrolytes, and that is my cure. So if I can't get a hold, you're scrambling, you don't Gatorade late at night, just make sure to get some electrolyte juice. I do take, this is not a sponsor, me and Joe both do this, Athletic Greens, it's just a bunch of nutrients, because you're sweating, you're moving all night. And that also I want to talk about. A lot of people are like, oh, do I cut calories throughout the week because I'm going out and partying? And I've never done that, because naturally you're up for several more hours, you're dancing, you're moving, you're neat, so your non-exercise energy thermodynamics, I'm butchering it, you're just moving more, so your calorie burn. So don't even think about that, just go and enjoy. And that's why it's really important to just come in tune with your body and know what is actual cravings, what is hunger. You're moving more, you're dancing, and just learning to listen. Shrey, yes, you're be able to watch that. Oh, what's your favorite treat? Do you mean define treat? Because I can go on and on, like my favorite candy, my favorite dessert. And then, I'm going to take a pause and answer William's question. Have you grown up or up having people dislike or bully you, threat you like you're nothing, and eventually were something interested in being your friend when you became famous? Well, I wouldn't classify myself as famous, but I got all of you guys. And so, yeah, I do have an audience, of course, and I appreciate that. I didn't have it too bad because I actually had it in a weird... So when I was in high school, I wasn't super popular, never was, but I was never really, I was just always busy. I was always doing sports, academics, people kind of know who I am, but I was definitely not the popular girl. I wasn't invited to parties. I was just always working out. And so people were nice to me. Of course, it was bullying in high school, and I definitely dealt with it. And definitely there was a lot of people that didn't pay attention to me and never really thought to invite me to parties or anything, but it wasn't, There was, of course, yes, some bullying, and I dealt with that, but I think a lot of people, and actually, no one really talked to me, but when I started bartending in the city, I come from a small town, when I turned 21 and started bartending, then suddenly all the people that never paid attention or invited me to parties were like, oh, can you get me into the club, and can you get me in here, and then, so that was the only time I actually really experienced it, and so that was a funny one, so I didn't actually really experience it from YouTube, but then I moved away and YouTube happened, and I think I live in kind of small towns. People, I don't know, never really reached out. I kind of just went my own way, and so I've had a couple moments of people, when I go back to Edmonton, are like, oh, we need to hang out, and we never hung out. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go hang out with my family and my friends. Like, and no, I was like, I hopefully run into you at the bar. So that was kinda, I experienced it in a funny way. Oh, Maddie, thank you for tuning in. I hope Costa Rica, if you're still there, is amazing. If you guys didn't know, Maddie is an awesome subscriber, and she's from Toronto, but I know she's been in Costa Rica for a little bit, just enjoying. So hopefully you have a great time, and we'll hop back in. Okay, I'll just answer one more thing William said, as he's kind of facing that, and now he has TikTok fame. And you know what? It's one of those, William, I don't know if this is advice, but it's just a great reminder, I think, COVID, the people that really mattered, and just concentrate more on those. It's like, you can be nice to those people and be like, oh, appreciate, but just kind of put them in an acquaintance. Nice, you're a memory in my past, but unfortunately, it's kind of an icky feeling of when people didn't care for you, but once they realize you have a following, then they want to go after you. So I think it's kind of one of these, place them in that bucket. You're like, okay, you were in my past, that's great, no hard feelings, but I'm just gonna, leave you there and gonna concentrate on the people who were there from the beginning. Like, I have my 3 best girlfriends, and they've been with me since I was broke in Edmonton and nothing to my name. And so rather than waste energy on people being angry or bitter about those other people, I concentrate on them. So that would be my advice, and hopefully that helps. So we're gonna jump back into, and I really appreciate you too, William. So if anyone has questions, ask them, as I'm just kind of rambling off. This is a topic, I think, with this live streams, that's kind of going to be, we're just going to go see how the conversations goes between us. And then I just want to talk with you guys. I'll have some points that I'll cross, but if we don't get to them, I'd rather just talk to you guys. Have your skin ever revolted against you after drinking? Samantha, that is the one thing I struggle with. So I've got the no hangover, the fitness, how I can jump back in, how to bounce up. My skin after a long time, yeah, it's such, I have dry skin. So it definitely is tough because drinking is so dehydrating. And I find the best thing is plan a good skincare day. The day after I drink, I plan just light activity, no workouts. I'm talking walks, maybe swim, not even yoga class, because then I'm stuck in a class. At least a swim or hike I can bail on at any point. But a hot yoga class, it's just my own stretching, my own yoga I would do. And then I plan a real good that's when I exfoliate my whole body. I put my hair mask in, face mask. You do all that after a night of drinking. And that's a really nice thing. It's just good self-love. It gives you something to do. You feel really productive. It's not too tough. So I feel that would be my tip there. Is it okay lift as a young teen? People keep saying it makes you shorter or stops growing, but I love lifting. So this is super debated, so I don't want to say what I say for fact, but my own personal experience is it has been debunked. I don't have any studies off the top of my mind, so that's why I was don't take this for fact, but that's been disproven that it makes you shorter. There is risk of injury when you're young and growing, and that's a bit of the issue. And you don't really, so that's why I'm you want to just make sure you do proper form. And I think that's a big mistake, is a lot of younger people just start doing all the intense stuff. You are in this beautiful place to just learn proper basic. There's a proper deadlift, proper squat, learn how to properly move your body for the next couple of years, and then you'll eventually be able to do progressive overload. But I started lifting when I was 14 for basketball. So, and I'm tall. I grew to I'm almost 5'8", and everyone in my family's around that height, so I don't think I was going to be any taller. So just really be careful about injury. That would be my number one thing. And as you're growing, that's where I think injury happens a lot, is when you have growth spurts when you're younger. Suddenly that happened for me. How I squat changes every few months because my limbs are a different length. So you just have to be careful, make sure you have a trainer and someone to look after you. But just have professional help, and that would be my only real recommendation, but it's not going to make you shorter. I'm pretty sure that's been disproven. I'm interested in sports psychology and was wondering how you manage nerves, anxiety surrounding performance. For me, I find it's a routine in music, and I find that's a nice thing as a routine works for me. Sorry, I hope you guys can't hear that vacuum. COVID things. It's not even COVID, just maintenance, apartment things. For me, I find if you ever get nervous or anything, have a routine that you can place anywhere. Basketball was really good for that. that you're never playing in the same place. You're always on the go. I'm everywhere across the country, but I always kind of knew I time a shoe at this time. I listen to this song, I eat this, and I just kind of had a little pre-game routine, and then I could kind of zone out, and then it was always the same, and the nerves after didn't really affect me, and I always just, I don't know how to explain this, but I feel nerves and excitement are always the same, so whenever I'm really nervous, I just try to tell myself, no, it's excitement, and it's like a placebo effect for myself, and just realize, yeah, that's how I tell myself, and yeah, a routine, and switch the narrative. What gets you excited about life? Ooh, Maddie, music right now is getting me very excited. As you guys know, I've been recording streams, so those will start popping up on my second channel. And I've just really changed up my content the last little bit. It's really the fitness bucket list, the vlogs, and the music streams. And just that's so much of no longer being told this video will blow up and do this video because it's the most trendy thing. It's just, I'd just rather communicate, like all you guys I see every week in the comments, and I'd rather get closer with you, and then also just focus on like content that we both love. When did you start DJing? I actually started kind of figuring it out in November of last year, but I didn't have equipment. And then I think it was end of March, I bought my first online course, and then I enrolled in like a DJ school in June. And so yeah, and then I've been doing it like every day since. So, oh, I got some quick. Are you going to EDC last week? Oh, I wish. One day, I hope to God I'll be there. How is it that every time I work out a little bit harder, I get sick? Ooh, I would talk to a doctor about that because yes, it depends how you're working out. But anytime you increase activity a lot, you increase stress, and that increases an immune response. And because of that, like it lowers your immune system. So you're more susceptible about getting sick. That's why I don't think I ever get sick, because I grew up my whole life doing high intensity activities. So whenever I do it, my body's already adapted. But if you're doing something out of the ordinary, just wait. Wait, yeah. So yeah, everyone's shocked. I'm almost 5. I'm like 5'7" on a bed, so I kind of exaggerate. That's yeah. Everyone thinks I have short girl energy. I've been told. What's the best way to motivate yourself to work out when you're on your period? I really find it hard to get up and move during the first 3 days of your cycle. Honestly, first of all, if you know it's the first 3 days, just plan not to work out those 3 days. Like just know every month around this time I'm gonna have rest days, and just go for a walk. Just get movement in. And just kind of plan that and be like, hey, after those 3 days, that would be my recommendation. And then the second would be just get there and just say, I just have to move today. And whatever feels that, if it's a walk, if you're comfortable swimming, if it's doing yoga, stretching, if it's just riding a bike, just get some movement that feels good, but just plan nothing intense if that's how your body reacts. If you could have dinner with anyone alive, famous or dead, who would it be with and what would you eat? Ooh. Anyone. Avicii, sorry. Oh, 100% Avicii. We go for a traditional Swedish meal. That would be 100%, yeah. Oh. You have a second channel. Yes, I have a second channel. It's kind of always been, I didn't know what to do with it, but it's called Keltie O 2.0. And that's where I've been putting all my shorts. So like my vertical 10-second videos. And then that's where I'll start posting 30-minute. I've recorded a bunch. I just have to have the confidence to press publish. But there'll be like 30 to 45-minute, 60-minute streams that like you can just listen to while you work out. So you're not spending the whole time like skipping songs. You can just listen. So I'm so excited for that. I saw William asked, Williams, he said, thank you so much for everything you do, Keltie. I love your videos and love your personality and your kindness. I'd love to have a friend like you. Oh, I hope you find just the best friend. I feel so lucky to have the best friends in the world, and hopefully you found that, especially with the nice, beautiful thing about TikTok is you can find so many similar creators, and Instagram's great for that. And I hopefully you find that, William, because you're such a beautiful, bright light. And thank you for the tip. You did not need to do that. So I do appreciate it. That was very kind of you. Who were you so happy to meet in LA and why? Ooh, honestly, Nikki and Whitney, just because when I was first had the idea of making YouTube, I was watching them like religiously, and that was kind of during their big come up, and now I think they're just like OGs in the space. But that was just so, just like I just looked over and I was like, that's Nikki. It was just like very like mind blowing and just kind of like, I wish I could go back to myself like 5 years ago when I was watching Nikki like religiously, and that was like she was really on her come up. I still watch her stuff, but I think you know what I mean. When she was like all fitness YouTube, and I wish I could be like, one day you'll meet her. So that, and Whitney too. How do you balance going out, social events, and fitness goals? Sometimes I don't want to go out drinking because of my goals, and I need to find balance. Okay, Gabby, this is perfect with the subject. So there's a few ways to go about it. One, I think there's seasons. I think first of all, when you have a big fitness goal, just really ask her, like, set a specific goal. It might be for 2 weeks, it might be 4 weeks, it might be 8 weeks. And I think there's something really great about being like, you know what, I'm not going drinking. I'm just focusing on this fitness goal. I have a very specific goal. I have an end point. And once I achieve this, I will go celebrate. And that night out after you really work towards something and got it, that is beautiful. As an athlete, I love that. It's, you know, sometimes during playoffs, you're not going out, but after the season, you go out, championship. And I think it's something really good about that. But then you need the seasons of being like, you know what, I'm just going to live in the moment. You only live once. Your friends invite you out. Don't focus so much on your goals. And for me, it goes in 1 to 3 month cycles. And I think you need a bit of both. And so for myself, I still try to go out. I'm very extroverted. And so I used to be like, oh, I have fitness goals. I can't go out. But now I just sit up, tell my friends, I'm like, I'm not drinking tonight. I have this. And then I've just learned how to be out without drinking. And you'd be shocked once. Like, even if, here's my tip. I have a beer and I just hold it all night. And then people just don't really ask once you're drunk. And if people are like, oh, shots, I'm like, oh, I'm good. And like, drunk people don't pay attention. So there would be my tip. If you want to still go out, just have a drink and like nurse it, only finish half of it. And no one really asks, because you don't want to be that person all the time, like, oh, I'm not drinking. You just be like, oh, no, I got one. And that way you're not a buzzkill. But if you're introverted, don't feel bad. Just be like, I'm staying in right now. And then go see your friends, invite your friends to spin class. When I'm like really fitness grind mode, me and my friends do a lot more like daytime things we go for. And hopefully that answers your question. Speaking of periods, what about the bounce back after giving in your sugar cravings for a couple days? Ooh. So I find, well, let's talk about from the female hormones perspective. This is me and just a little bit of science based, but I feel this is why being in tune with your hunger is so important, because I'm going to butcher this because this is a live stream. I don't have any of my research Keltie notes. Your hormones, how they spike and dip before your period, during your period, and after, influence a lot of your cravings. And if you truly listen to them, I know for myself, I'll use this example. Right before my period, the scale goes up 5 pounds. I have no appetite. I'm bloated. My digestion's off and I'm breaking out. And every month I'm like, why? What is happening? I'm not really eating as much as I normally do. I'm feeling a little off. But I'm not going to force myself to eat. I'm just like, hey, you know what? I'm just, digestion's being funny. I'm just listening truly to my body. And then my period happens and it's like, just everything goes. And then I'm ravenous, then I eat, and that kind of evens out. So that works for me. It's not for everyone. I'm not saying I'm restricting knowing that's coming. I'm just truly listening that my body didn't want as much and suddenly it wants a lot. And so then it naturally evens out. That would be my one tip. Now, if you're someone who's not like that and you just naturally just get these cravings, I find there's a few options you can do. First is try and find healthy swaps and just ask, what are you truly craving? If it's chocolate, okay, have a piece of chocolate. Do not restrict yourself, but then be like, hey, I need a lot of more iron. So have some dark leafy vegetables, add cocoa to things. Look into like, what are you craving and what nutrient could you be lacking in? And just add more of that. So it might be you need some more sodium, you might need some more iron, you might need some more meat, you might kind of be conscious of like, what are you craving, and really ask yourself what your body needs. And then in terms of bouncing back, afterwards, I always find the best tip when you want to kind of get back after you've had like a lot of sugar cravings or anything is get healthy food you're excited for. So there's so many TikTok now of like people that just have like the delicious, and I'm not saying like suddenly you have to go on diet food. No diet food, that is dumb. I mean healthy food that sounds delicious. What's that girl, Emily, that does like the rice, salmon, mayo, sriracha on TikTok? Like you watch her healthy meals and you're like, oh my God, I need this. And you crave it. So find healthy meals, go on Pinterest that you're excited for. And I find that's the best way. And after a little while, your body will even out. And especially females, we're in this kind of ebb and flow and we can't go day by day. It's definitely, you got to look at yourself at like a 3 month. And over the 3 months, as long as you're even, that's the best you can do. Okay, let's go back. some questions. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast? I feel like the Shots and Squats platform would make for great content. Thank you. That's what I'm hoping these live streams are. So that's kind of what these live streams are going to be. It's like my Squats and Shots podcast, but just with the vlogs and the fitness bucket list and the streams, like those take so much in editing and I just didn't have the time. So right now I just thought this would be a fun way. It's very similar to a podcast, but instead of having guests, I can have you guys. And that's what I wanted. I just wanted to create like more stronger community with all of us and just have us have a chance to talk instead of just talking to other people. But who knows what could happen with this live stream. She was live. We finally watched from New York. Hi, Sven. I hope I said that right. Pamela. I do high intensity cardio and do treat myself to good food, but I don't overindulge. Carolyn Garvin is a beast. Love her. Are you going to do another epic program of hers? We'll see. I'm kind of burnt out of at-home workout programs. I won't lie. I had to take a little break from them. I have some plans with the vlogs of testing out some. So you'll see that in November and December, especially with January and people try new things. I just definitely want to test out a few, but I just had to give myself a breather once gyms are open. I was like, I want to be in the gym. So that's why I took a break from her. She is awesome and I do love her stuff. How'd you train on an empty? Do you like to train on an empty stomach? Personally, I always do. Usually, I train every morning, but I never like train fasted. It's more of just like I'm up, I'm good to go. I always have like cream and stuff in my coffee, and then if I feel like having a bite of an apple or something, like I'm never like, oh, I can't eat to this time. But I think it's because of competitive swimming. I grew up working out early in the morning on an empty stomach, and I also eat really late, so my glycogen stores are full. And I just like that. But if I need to eat and I wake up hungry, I'll have a meal. I just find usually if I have too big of a meal right before I go work out in the morning, I'm just lethargic and it makes me sleepy. But that's about what works best for you. There's been a lot of research that intermittent fasting is not good for females. That's why I don't ever say I intermittent fast, because I would be the worst, because I just constantly like just have a bite of something. But that's for me. Did your 10 steps a day for a year truly make a change for you? You might be confusing me with someone else. I did do the 10K steps for a week, and then I did do a video a long time ago of like walking. I walk way over 10,000 steps a day because I don't drive. I walk everywhere. I live in a very walkable city, and I do, honestly, learning to walk was the best thing possibly for my mental health. I have so much it's just a me time, and then I find it's just a way I can just separate myself from the world, work on creativity, listen to podcasts, listen to music, and it even like helps my digestion. And just whenever I'm too stressed, I just go on a walk. And if you haven't embraced walking since COVID, you need to. I don't know anyone that it's so human nature. Just get out there and just look up, and the world doesn't seem as problematic. So I would say that changed my life dramatically, because I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, and if you've never been there, no one walks. I used to, so embarrassing, live 2 blocks from 7-Eleven, and I used to drive to the 7-Eleven, and that horrifies me to think I used to be that lazy. Have you ever tried Pilates before? Looking to switch up? Yes, I do love Pilates. It's really good for posture imbalances, and it's a little hyped, some parts about it. It's not. I do think it's really important though, muscle correction, and it is really good at like engaging dormant muscles. For myself, my glutes and abs I naturally don't use because I have APT, and doing Pilates type movements are actually very beneficial of just posture correction, which if you have that foundation, you have proper movement patterns, and you start weightlifting, that's how you reduce injury. And that's how like a lot of girls don't have good glute growth, because they don't have proper mechanics for actually the full range of motion to engage your glutes. And that's why a lot of times, myself included, don't have proper glute growth. And so instead of just trying to lift heavier, you kind of have to step back, and Pilates is a good like build that foundation and then go. How could I feel bad after eating? Llama, you need to eat to survive. Food is art, and that is the best thing I could ever describe, of stopping to look at food as calories and macronutrients, looking at on nutrients that helps your hair grow, that helps your skin, it helps your body, your muscles, your glutes, your digestion work properly. You need that to have that beautiful, lusty, like high quality, good hair. All that comes down to nutrients. So I like to think of foods as nutrients. And then when I look at a thing of pasta anything, I look at it as love. And I like to look at food, and not just as a plate, I look at it as like generations passed down this recipe. My mom took the time to make sure my stomach was full. And I look at food at a restaurant or someone else makes me as art. And then when I make it myself, I look at it as like a form of self-care. I'm like, oh, I'm taking the time, I'm cooking, it's fun, let's try this. And once you start to look at food as like an art and a form of entertainment, you can never feel bad about that, because every bite just means so much more. And so that's my tip of how I look at food. Julia, thank you. Pelin Can, sorry if I said that wrong. Hello. Maggie says, I have a rare disease. I can't eat fat, even essential fat. My diet is very strict and can't fast more than 5 hours. Sounds the same, but it's my normal because I'm going blind and I'm nervous. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Maggie. That is so hard. I just want to send you so much love, and that I don't even know how you're dealing with that. Hopefully you have a good support system around you. You're beautiful. You're an amazing soul, and I wish I could send you just the biggest hug in the entire world. How is COVID in Canada? Are you allowed to not wear masks inside now? Are you planning some more traveling soon? COVID is kind of like the States. I feel like when I went to the States, it's very similar. It's mask mandatory kind of everywhere. And I'm going home to Edmonton for Thanksgiving, and then I think I'm off to Europe in a couple of weeks to see Megs, and then in November I'm going to LA or New York. I haven't decided. Do you ever find yourself unmotivated to work out sometimes? Maybe. Yes. And here's the 2 ways you can go about this. And this really depends on you. One, you just got to tell yourself sometimes, like, you're not always going to feel like doing something. And this is the athlete side of me. When I have a specific goal and I know I have to do it, it's not just me being like burnt out. Like, I'm like, no, I set out this goal. I set out this plan. I just tell myself, no, I don't feel like it, but I'm still going to go. And like practice, and I think basketball and sports are really good for that. Like, you don't feel like practice 50% of the time, you still have to go. And I try to think of my workouts, even music. There's a lot of times I go out and I'm like, oh, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, this couch is nice, I'm 3 hours into TikTok. I'm like, oh, I just don't feel like it. I have to wait till I'm inspired. I'm like, no, like no one, like if you want goals, you have just to do it. So maybe just, and it sounds so simple, but it's a nice little switch to be like, no, I don't feel like doing it, but I'm going to do it. And so not like doing things when you don't want to, and just realizing that's kind of life and that's how you achieve goals. But on the flip side, if you're burnt out, you're sore, you've been grinding, you're not sleeping properly, you're not fueling yourself properly, you need that rest. You need to step back and be like, what do I need so I'm motivated? Am I sleeping enough? Am I getting enough water? Am I fueling myself? Am I taking enough rest between workouts? Am I doing workouts that truly set my soul on fire? So whether your workouts can be towards a specific goal and they're the best way to get there, or they're workouts that you enjoy doing every day. So make sure it's one of those 2 things you're doing, and that would be my tip. Do you think of supplements like creatine? Someone asked. Creatine is the most studied supplement aside from caffeine in the world, so it is legit. It depends on your goals. I personally, the only supplements I do take athletic greens every day as just like make sure I get nutrients in. I do use a Ghost protein powder, and Alani and Ghost like have BCAAs, like hydrating things that I like to take, honestly, to flavor my water. And if I'm working out heavy, it's nice to just have something in there. And I take a fish oil, krill oil, and vitamin C. Those count. But like I used to be like taking every supplement, and I found just if you have a diverse diet, supplements are nice. They're kind of just nutritional insurance. They're like a backup plan. You don't need them, but it's kind of, if you got the money and you like taking them, then do it. They can be a nice ritual. That's what they're kind of good for. Like having a pre-workout, I don't recommend, but it's nice to have like a routine that gets you to the gym. Maddie, yes, this is why I love you, for the positive relationship with food and looking at food as nutrients and fun, not the enemy. Agreed. Maddie gets it. She gets it. Dogman, which celebrity athlete day in the life was the most challenging all around? Ooh. The first time I did the Michael Phelps was probably the most challenging, because like it was a 12,000 and I think I got like 4,000 calories into it. And I was like, I'm full. Because you had to work out so much, and sometimes when I work out a lot, I lose my appetite because you just want to lay on the couch, and then I had to eat. Yeah, so that one was brutal. And then, who was it? Oh, the Zac Efron. It was like no carbs. I only did that one for like 24 hours. Anytime it's no carbs and it's super restrictive, those ones I tend to only do for 24 hours. So I'm like, just try to tell myself, I'm like, I'm so blessed that I have enough income that like I get to copy celebrities' diets versus people in the world starving to death. So I try never to be too bitter that I feel like, I gotta eat in a way that's entertaining for people, because anytime I do those challenges, for the most part, it's just pure entertainment. Do I need to? No, I have no desire to give up carbs or eat keto or do anything like that. It's just pure entertainment, and the fitness world tends to like to watch things. I'm like, hey, how can I make this entertaining? But I always try to take it from a place of gratitude that like, I'm so lucky I get to do this. So I don't really hate any, but some I'm like, I would never do if it weren't for the internet. Which says a lot about our generation. Are you going to post your latest Spotify playlist on Apple Music? Oh, sorry, I forgot to. Yes, I will do that. Weird question. Weirdest night out hangover concoction of junk food that turned out okay. I.e. peanut butter burger on a grilled cheese with cheese pizza. Oh my God. What was your peanut butter burger on a grilled PB with cheese? Definitely not from experience. Okay, honestly, peanut butter in a burger is underrated. That is good. That is a delicacy. But I've had so many weird ones. I used to, like, I was that person that was drunk at 3 a.m. and people were like, McDonald's challenge. I'm like, let's do it. And like, I'm just, yeah, kind of like that. But I've eaten a not cooked frozen pizza. I was so hungry. I only waited till it was like in there 5 minutes. So it kind of melted. So it wasn't hard. So I ate that, woke up in the morning being like, cool, I ate a frozen pizza, a literal frozen pizza. So that's not a concoction. That was just, ugh. And then is this weird? But like, I'll dip anything in a McFlurry. So that's my go-to when I'm drunk. It's like a McFlurry and something salty, whether it be fries, chicken nuggets, McFlurry. And I think I've dipped everything on the McDonald's menu in a McFlurry at one point. So, except the Filet-O-Fish. I'm talking hash browns, French fries, burgers. Yeah, that's got to be up there. Or like sometimes when you're so hungry and you come back and you're like, I have nothing. So you put like ham on weird crackers and butter and you're like, cool, this is a delicacy. A lot of that. Can you give insight about your current workout split? How many strength days and how many cardio days are you doing currently? 0. It will come out soon, but I'm currently doing a not working out challenge because I got my wisdom teeth removed. So I haven't been able to work out I was traveling and then went to wisdom teeth, so I've only been able to walk. So I documented a not working out challenge. But after next week, I'll be back into working out. And my split usually is 3 days a week of my resistance / strength training. So that's working on my core, my glutes, because that's always important, and then an upper body, lower body. I always do full body. That's just a preference. I'm not trying to, if I wanted to build a bunch of muscle, I could, but I don't really care. It's about more just optimizing performance. So it's about 3 days of that, and then 3 pure cardio things. So that might be running, it might be swimming. It's just anything that's like very cardio based to make sure my cardio health, because I like to be very flexible, because then every month I can kind of pick up on any challenge. So that's why I'm like 3 foundational for me specifically, my body type, weight training, mobility training at the end of that, then about 3 strength, and then the rest of it is all fun. It's usually 1 to 2 low intensity workouts. So that would be a long hike. We go on a bike ride with my friend. Like Saturdays, Sundays is definitely just like fun, low intensity, staying active all day, dancing all night. And then the other 2 days, I'm like, it might be a challenge associated. It's very open. The other 2 days are where I usually fit in a challenge, or I do classes. Now that classes are open, that's just fun for me. It's a great way to get in the community. So that's kind of my split. I know it's really weird, but it's taken me a long time, and it's what I love. What are you taking for your hair? It's so long and pretty. Thank you. So go to my 500-day hair growth journey. I have my whole routine smack dab in the middle of it. What are some things you learned about yourself in lockdown that you might have figured out otherwise, whether it's your body, your mind, your habits, etc.? Ooh, Amber, I have so many, but the main one was that I truly wasn't living the life I always wanted to live. As much as like on paper, I have the best boyfriend, I have the best friends, I have a YouTube channel I love, but I feel like I was very much just like, my YouTube, I had a video that went viral, and I kind of just chased those kind of videos for a long time. I wasn't really doing the videos that why I came to YouTube. And so I really did a lot of time reflecting, like, why do you do YouTube? What kind of YouTube videos do you want to make? And if you could do anything in the world, what would you do? And because that's kind of the premise of my channel, and I realized it wasn't. And since I was young, if you guys watched my, I don't know how to say this without getting demonetized, but 2 videos ago about my mental health struggle, since I was young, I always wanted to DJ, and I didn't. Because I thought I was too old, even though I was 20, thinking I was too old. Like, but And I've always wanted to be, I've loved music and performance and going out. That's why I was a bartender, and like everything about my life wanted to do that. And I've always loved making playlists and workouts. And so finally I took the time. I was like, if I could do anything in the world, I'm an athlete. I need big fitness goals to go towards my fitness bucket list. I was like, I do love just creating entertaining content for you guys. I love our community. I love the squats then shots mentality, and that's where the vlogs come in. And then the workout streams, which will start coming soon. I know it's been a lot behind the scenes and hopefully released. So it's just learning those are like, if I'm just doing those 3 things, I have the best life on the face planet. I don't think my life's better than anyone else, but for me, it's like so me. And so that, I think COVID was a really good time of like separating what everyone says I should do and what I really want to do. Okay, I'm going to go on for about 5 more minutes. So any questions you guys have, hit me here. Hope you're healing well from the wisdom teeth. Thank you so much, Janelle. Do you miss Toronto? I miss the old Toronto. So the Toronto before COVID I miss, but the Toronto in COVID isn't it. Have you decided on a DJ name? Yes. So I think I'm just going to go by KOC. Like, I guess it'd be DJ KOC, but kind of like a Diplo, Avicii, Skrillex just goes by like the name, not DJ something. And I like KOC. It's my initials. Also, when you say KOC, first of all, some people might say kook, like kooky, which is kind of me, or inappropriate eggplants, which I think is funny. So I was like, I don't know. I have a weird sense of humor. So, and that's all we're doing. Mary, I'm a nurse and love working out, but after before shifts, it's really hard to find motivation since it's quite the physical job. Any suggestion for working out when you don't work a desk job? Ooh, Marie, a lot of my best friend in the world is a nurse, so I totally understand. It's not something I've been with. I'm just trying to think of any tips. It's so tough because you really got to work what's best for you. I guess the thing is, for nurses, you just got to find something that's really easily accessible, whether it be a gym that you could go to right before, right after. So like you have to literally drive by the gym on your way home. So it's kind of hard to skip, or you have your yoga mat set up. Like, make it so easy to go that you don't have, like, it's harder to not go than to go. I feel that's a great way. So just make it so habitable. Just set up everything possible that it would just be tough to skip it. Whether, setting everything up, pre-book. That's another thing. If you have access to like fitness classes where you have to pre-book ahead of time, that's a nice one if you're not motivated, because you're like, oh, if I don't go, I'm going to be charged $30. That's what I do when I know I won't want to do a workout. I do a fitness class, because then it forces me. Because if I don't go, first of all, they see I skipped out. Someone sees me. Accountability. Having an accountability buddy helps. Annie's not fitness related, but any advice on making friends as a 24-year-old? I feel like it was so easy in uni because I was surrounded by people. Honestly, Annie, is something I suffer with, but the best thing, community. For me, fitness classes is the best way. Bartending was another. Those were my 2 areas that I found that's how I met my best friends, was bartending, actually. So finding a job that's really social, even if it's just for a temporary time, you have a full-time job, maybe if you don't have friends, get a social job on the weekend, Fridays and Saturdays. If you're like, I've been there when I moved cities a lot. When I moved to Toronto, I started bartending, and it was just like an easy way. Fridays and Saturdays, I met people, and then suddenly you have friends, and then you start to network and you meet people. Or during the day, start going to fitness classes and just talk to the people in your gym. And like, if you always train at the same time, there's always those girls there at the same time, so you just start complimenting, like, I like your leggings, or I like your water bottle, and just start talking more. And before you know it, you'll be in the change room at the same time. You're like, what do you do for a living? Da, da, da. Like, follow me on Instagram. And I find that's the best way. Like, it's awkward at first, but just start talking. Just compliment girls. I find that's the best way. Compliment their clothing. Mention something, and it's just a nice, easy way in. But yeah, bartending and fitness classes / your gym are great places. Maybe not bartending, serving, but those, just something you can have like social and make a community, and then go from there. How do you deal with the stress of university while playing a sport? Ooh, not well at all. I've learned a lot, but let's just say I didn't. I said I literally tried to off myself. Am I allowed to make jokes about that now that I've opened up about it? But yeah, I didn't. And I think that's not put so much pressure on yourself of doing it perfectly. Your early 20s are about figuring out what works for you. And I look back at that time and I'm like, you We're so dumb. And like, luckily we talk about mental health a lot more on here, but on just social media, I should say. But I really think it's about learning what balance is to you. I don't think balance is thrown around a lot, but I don't think it's the same for every single person. I think sometimes balance for people is cutting out certain aspects of your life and only focusing on others. I think balancing is having half and half of everything. For some people, it will be, I'm not dating right now, I'm just working on my job. Some people are like, I'm just gonna take some time off my work and date, and finding that it's really about what works for you and in those seasons, and not worrying about doing university perfect. No one does university perfect. Just enjoy the time. Try and make sure you have time to sleep. Try and study the best you can, especially with sports. It is so tough, but at the same time, I look back and I'm like, oh, that was such a beautiful time in my life. I'm so thankful. And so try to be thankful in the moment. I know those aren't concrete things, but just I think hopefully a lot more athletes put less pressure on themselves of trying to do it perfectly and just trying to do the best of their abilities and doing everything you possibly can, and realize it is freaking tough. And sleep enough. I didn't sleep enough, and I think I would have been a lot better if I just took the time to sleep and focus on my mental health and know when to rest and when to say no, and building boundaries around myself. Is it DJ? It's DJ KOC is like how I will go by. So if you're like, oh, that's KOC, that's my nickname. All my friends call me. I'm currently suffering after my weekend still. Arissa? Okay, let's talk. I'll finish off a few little tidbits about this stream that I started. This is why I like the streams. They can kind of go wherever. Some tips the day after. You need eggs, bread, butter, banana. Those are like the foundation of getting over a hangover. Have those first thing in the morning. A bunch of multivitamins, green juice. That's going to cure it. You need to sleep. You need to hydrate as much as possible. Start your week off as like a lower intensity. I'm talking swim, yoga, long hikes. You want to move, bikes or hikes, but don't plan your most intense workout after a whole entire time, because then you're just going to like dig yourself a deeper hole, and that's how you're suddenly hungover into the midweek. So that would be and then plan food that makes you really excited. Nutrient-dense food that just gets you excited. They're like, oh, I want that. Like that's where I like to be after a hangover. It's like I'm craving smoothies and a Caesar salad and an oatmeal bowl and, you know, potatoes and chicken and broccoli. I crave that. And so start to plan exciting foods and just sleep. Sleep and electrolytes. Anyways, I'm going to answer 2 more questions. Upvote for the how long are your workouts generally? I'd say like my actual like workout, like the weight training component is like 45 minutes to an hour. And then usually it's like 1 to 2 hours after that of just being active throughout the day. Like I don't sit a lot, like I'm walking, moving, but I'd say like if you were like my actual workout are only probably 45 minutes to an hour. But it's tough because I film a lot, so I'm usually in there 2-ish hours because I'm stopping and filming things, and it really depends on challenges. Like some challenges I'm in the gym for like 3-4 hours, but normally if it was just like my day-to-day, it's 30 to 45 minutes, 60 minutes, somewhere in there, and then everything on there is just more of like fun for me, working on skills, stuff like that. Okay, we're gonna answer one more question. So if you have any questions now, we'll try and find a good one. Keltie, hey Amy, I missed the stream. It will be published in a second, so hopefully you can rewatch it if you missed it. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll ask one more. So if anyone has it, say it now. Let's see. How has it been since, oh, this is a good one. How have you been since posting your last emotional video? I thought, thank you. That's a good one actually to talk about because I haven't really talked about it. So I just want to thank everyone for allowing me the safe space to open up. I never knew how to address it. It was something, it was really scary because I didn't just have to open up to you guys. I had to take the time and call every single loved one, my mom, my brother, my significant other, my best friends, and tell them because I didn't want to just like upload on the internet and they'd be like, you haven't told me this. And so it was really tough to like tell everyone. So that was really tough, but it was also like a weight off my shoulder because I feel for so many years I used to always just be like, oh, my dark past. Oh, my dark past. And it was just kind of like this like, felt like I was always lying, but it was just like I wasn't ready to talk. And then it just felt really nice to finally speak my truth. And it kind of just made I don't know, life worked in a funny way, and it was so nice hearing so many stories from you guys, and just I feel connecting with you. And I think especially after last year, a lot of people have gone to the worst mental health place, and just knowing it gets better. And if you're willing to put in the work, and it's messy, it's not clean, it's not, that's what I always tell anyone who's in a dark place, it's not clean, it's not pretty to get out of, it's just doing something. For me, it was just starting bartending, and I met friends. And that was honestly the first thing that started. And then because of those friends, I started going to festivals. Because I started going to festivals, I started listening to EDM because of that music. And it was just like and then I started working out. And it was a ripple effect. But I just had to start doing something. So it really meant the world hearing all your guys' comments. And I want to get all to them. And I think one day I'll try to respond to them all, because there were so many beautiful ones of people sharing their stories. And it meant so much to me. And the universe works in the funniest of ways. And it's kind of hard with the outline of the LA vlog, but I've been telling Gymshark for several months now, like, hey, I'm learning to DJ. If you guys ever need a DJ for an event. And I kind of like sent them an audition tape for the LA event, and they never got back to me. So I kind of was like, okay, I'm not good enough yet. It is what it is. And I pushed it aside. And then the Friday I uploaded that video, and the Monday, so I was leaving on a Tuesday, the Monday I got a call from my Gymshark manager, and she was like, we do need you to DJ. Do you want to DJ? With like no notice. I was not remotely prepared as like I would have liked to have been. But I was like, it's an opportunity. You got to jump on those opportunities. You'll never be fully ready. So you got to go for it. And it was just this beautiful, beautiful universe that I finally opened up about my struggles and how I overcame them. And that it was music and DJing and Avicii. And then I got my first DJ gig. And it was, not to paint something so dark so beautifully, the world works in crazy ways. So I just want to thank you guys all, and thank you. I'm going to say some thank yous. Thank you, Cute Muffin and Nancy and Patty and Alicia and Citrin. Sorry if I say any of this wrong. Amy, Madison, Sam, everyone, thank you so much for tuning into this live. I'm hoping to do these like once a week or whenever I see like something interesting on the internet. I want to thank William again for the tip. That was so absolutely sweet of you. You didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate it. And hope you guys have a fabulous day. Go pet a dog. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, I don't know how to turn this off.